Welcome to Specific Love. Here recently I've been turning a bunch of wooden pins. And I wanted to show you some tips and tricks that I've picked up so whether you're a beginner or an intermediate, you can help improve your process. Let's begin. Now while you're picking out your woods for your pins, it's a good idea to try and avoid soft woods like pine because their wide grain can easily separate while turning, making small projects difficult. But also some exotic woods like ebony can be rigid and brittle when turning. So be prepared for a little trial and error when turning new wood types. Now you don't just have to use solid wood for your wood blanks. You can take small thin strips of different woods and glue them together for custom color designs. For example, here I'm using put oak and walnut, but you can mix and match whatever you would like. Now if you can't find the wood color of your choice, you can stain some jumbo popsicle sticks and glue them together for a one-of-a-kind pen. I made a video of this complete process and will put a link to it at the end of this video. Now once the wood blanks are ready, you must drill a hole for the pen barrel. This can be very challenging by hand, so I created this simple homemade drilling jig from scrap wood. You can use it with a hand drill or a drill press. I made a short video of how to build this jig, and I will also have it at the end of this video. Now when drilling a hole, it is a good idea to do it in steps, or this can cause issues. By drilling in steps prevents the buildup of wood particles getting trapped in the bit. Trapped particles can cause a hole to be oversized in softwoods, or even crack the blank in harder woods. If possible, having a vacuum or a dust collection at the drilling site can make this process much easier and quicker. After the pen barrel is glued in the hole, the excess wood on each side needs to be removed before turning. Now a barrel trimmer is becoming more common, but if you only plan to make 1 or 2 pins, then just use a sanding wheel. Just make sure the wood is at a 90-degree angle to the barrel or the final pin could be misshaped. Now you're almost ready for turning, but I've found that if you sand off the 4 corners of the blank before starting, you can save time by preventing a hard start. Round edges are easier to turn than sharp edges. This will also prevent unneeded wear and tear on your tools. When installing the blanks on the lathe, make sure to only lightly tighten the mandrel with the tailstock. Most mandrels can easily be bent if over tightened. Once you start turning the pen blanks, if they keep stopping in a process, you can always adjust them more. Another idea would be to use a mandrel saver. It mounts in the tailstock and allows the mandrel to ride inside to help prevent bending. Now for those who are new to turning, I have found that using carbide tools can be easier for beginners, especially for long straight pins. Plus, the first pin turning class I ever took at a local wood store also offered carbides to those who were new. But be prepared, there will be others who disagree with this statement. Now in the process of turning your blanks, there is a chance of part of the wood to break off and fly across the room. If this happens, stop the lathe, find that piece, and carefully use some CA glue to reattach it to the blank. If you're careful enough reattaching and using your tools to smooth it out, most people will never know it even broke. Now after you finish turning your pen blanks, it is a good idea to add a finish to help protect the wood from moisture and oils from your hands. Otherwise your work of art will slowly discolor over time. There are several finishes you can use, but I prefer CA glue because it dries fast and can be polished to a glossy finish. If you choose CA glue, I would also suggest getting a set of micromesh sanding pads. These help make the polishing steps much easier. Now if you're only making a couple of pens, you can use a simple wood clamp to squeeze all of the parts together. Just make sure all the pieces stay straight when inserting. Now if you plan to make a bunch of pins, I would suggest getting a pen press. This tool speeds up the process and helps to keep everything aligned, but they can be a little expensive if you only plan to turn 1 or 2 pins. Now when inserting the pieces, one of the most critical components is the twisting mechanism. If this is inserted too far, it is very hard to remove and can damage the pen. So before installing, insert the ink cartridge and extend it to its max length. Then place it alongside the pen blank to find the appropriate length before pressing it into the barrel. Now some of these kits come with a bunch of parts, but just remember you don't have to use the clip on the pen. The clip included in most pens is a nice piece to add to your finished pen, but it does limit some designs. So if you want a completely custom pen, just leave off the clip when assembling. Now last but not least, don't throw away any of your scrap pieces of wood. If you can save a variety of wood types, you can then combine them with some epoxy to make a very unique pen. This type of pen does require a few extra steps and tools, but can be a great conversation piece. I also made a video of creating this item if you would like to learn how. Now if you have some extra tips you would like to share with everybody else, please list those in the comments. Otherwise, I have some awesome videos right over here that you should check out. See you in the next video.